Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another bid vid. I hope all's good. There's another side to working in electronics, I find, and that is you don't just have to have a good rig setup that you go out and you use, or if you're in the studio, you use in the studio. You need another side where you can work on stuff, the studio side. So in this video, it's a studio rundown. I'm going to show you what I use in my studio. Now, this has taken me years to develop and to understand and learn, because not only in this day and age do you have to learn to play the drums, if you get into electronics, you have to learn how all the electronics work. And once you get into learning how electronics work, you need to learn how audio workstations work, desktop audio workstations or digital audio workstations. You then have to learn how compressors work. You have to learn how mixing desks work. You have to learn about routing, and all these other things start coming into the equation. And over the years, I've been fortunate enough to work with people who have shared me their experiences and their knowledge, and also picked up some of my own along the way. I have my own studio, and I'm going to give you a quick glimpse around it now and explain some of the things I've got going on. As you can see, there's not that much going on in it, but there's enough. For me, there's enough going on. There's no big fancy SSL desks or anything like that, but I do have a Midas M32R desk. And this is kind of like the main console, the main hub of my studio now. It wasn't before, but it has become that. And I love it. It's a great, great desk. And everything that I've got in here, my Mackie desk that you saw in the other video that I used with my kits, that all gets put through the Midas as well. So I can grab any sound that's going on in the studio. It all goes through the Midas, and I can grab it and put it to any system, because I have my eDrum system, but I also have another system, a studio system as well. Another really important thing that I have is the Mackie Big Knob. Now, that controls all the systems. It allows me to choose between which system I'm using. The DAW mix, the 2-track A mix, the 2-track B mix. Then on the other side of the big knob, I have ABC, which you may be able to see. And ABC switches between the speakers. And the speakers I have on A are the NS10s, which I've been using for 30 years, 25, 30 years. NS10s were just standard speakers that you would find in every single studio around the world back in the 80s and 90s. They're awesome speakers. They're flat. They're in a contained box. There's no air holes at all. It's a concealed box. It's just one unit with the driver and the tweeter in there. And if you know the speakers, you know that if it's sounding good on NS10s, it's going to sound good on other things as well. So that's on my speaker section A. On B, I have some focals. They're the Twin 6Bs that I have. Beautiful speakers. They were recommended to me by the Above and Beyond boys. John O'Grant was the guy who said, you know, you want to get yourself some decent speakers, because I was trying to make electronic music using NS10s way back. You just can't do it. You need to get yourself a really, really nice pair of speakers. It's really important, I think, or headphones, if you're going into that much detail and if you're working professionally. And then the third, I've got a set of Turbo Sound Lives. I found these down at my local music store. They were going for £100, £150. I thought, you know what, I'm going to have them. And they are just those speakers that if you want to turn it up and get a vibe going on, I stick it on C, those speakers kick in, I turn the volume up and I jump around the room. They're not for mixing on. I would never mix on those speakers, but they're definitely for getting ideas going and getting vibes going when you want that volume happening. So those are my speaker setups. I've got the Behringer Motor 49 keyboard, flying faders. That's really good. It allows me to operate some of the things going on with Ableton and other DAWs if I like, using faders rather than using mouse clicks and finger controls on the tracker pads and all that stuff. Really, really cool. The guys over at Behringer Music Tribe helped me out with that, as they did with the Midas desk, and I'm eternally grateful for them. And then, of course, on the walls, I've got my guitars, bass, and a Strat and a Telecaster, if I want to put some guitars down. And finally, no studio is complete unless you've got a television, and I seem to have quite a large TV these days. I love it. The reason is because of the electronic stuff that I do with the kit. If I get visuals going on, I want to be able to see what I'm triggering. That screen allows me to do that. I also have a projector on the ceiling as well, and that projects it onto the walls too sometimes. So there you go, another little bid vid with the studio rundown. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've had a little look into my world. There is going to be a part 3 because there's all kinds of stuff going on upstairs as well, but I'll do that at a later date. This is kind of like some of the important stuff, but upstairs isn't quite finished yet because I'm jiggling that about as well. But when it's done, when it's all up and running, then I'll show you upstairs, because that's where all the acoustic stuff is, you know. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little insight into my world, another little bidvid. And if you have, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube or the like button on Facebook. And I will see you again in another bidvid real soon. Until then, take it easy. All the best, guys. Ta-da.